Okay, here we are, back at the Hawkins mansion. We're gonna see what else we can discover for Cthulhu. This chapter, I think, is mostly gonna be short. We'll see, but I think I saw this already, so I'm gonna skip it. Yes.
Who goes there?
Our weird fish friend staring at us.
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
You know, I think I might do a drinkless playthrough, because the horrors of horror are so much worse than whatever the hell's going on here.
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
Oh, they refuse to let me leave. I'm kidnapped. There we go.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Let's go occultism, because
I saw people in hoods. They had stolen Mrs. Hawkins' paintings.
Who are you talking about? Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know, but they were a threat. They've taken over the caves under the mansion. They were performing some kind of ritual. One of the entryways was under Charles Hawkins' office.
We suspect Mr. Hawkins of being involved.
My patients believe the old islanders used to worship primitive sea gods. Could they be the focus of the cult?
Am I hearing this right?
So you think me gullible?
No, not at all.
What else did you uncover, Mr. Pierce?
What else do we got? Let's see, talk to Bradley. Might be on to it. Let's talk to Bradley. Oh, I can't do that. Dang.
I found a Darkwater PD badge. Lost a colleague recently?
What the?
Bradley.
Ethan?
I'm all right. I just had a... It's gone.
You're sure?
If it's important, it'll come back. But I can't explain why Dr. Fuller would have that badge.
The man's a danger, believe me.
What can we do, Pierce?
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Let's see.
I found a file bearing Sarah Hawkins' name in the Institute's basement.
It makes sense. A powerful family like the Hawkins had the means to hide such a disgrace.
But everyone knows the Fullers have been taking care of the Hawkins for at least a generation. And all were aware of Mrs. Hawkins' fragility.
Perhaps, but no one would allow a psychiatric internment.
From what I read in the file, Fuller used her as a subject of his experiments.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins, subjects of Dr. Fuller. Why those two?
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, And as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, and chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes. I've been telling you that Fuller uses it.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan. And I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
Well, that's all I got, apparently. So, come back. What happens if I say this?
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
That didn't go very well.
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry.
Hypnosis.
I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
Alright, so I might be on to
I
the
met a
lead.
Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's
come on.
involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say?
Oh.
That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having
Perhaps.
dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well.
Oh,
I'll go to see Francis's widow.
apparently that was a very big
Perhaps I'll
decision.
find a
I had
link
no idea.
between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Let us go now and learn the truth about...
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Yeah, I can tell, dude. Pierce, how many points do I have? 4 points? Oh. 85 and 90 should be good, so what, 3 for total level? Well, we can pull one. No drink. Okay, let's go.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well,
See, she already knows.
Look who's here.
Evil.
You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Oh my god, these are horrible choices. Was no longer there when it happened. You're taking it quite well.
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Test eloquence.
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
Everyone's using in this
That churl
conversation.
no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
I deduce that your husband already mentioned this dimensional Shambler.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you are so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Let's go check it out.
Did she really care for him after all?
I acknowledge the receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I'm sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. Signed, discharged. Oh, Fuller's a jerk. What's this?
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Construction.
A house of artists. Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
All amazing questions.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? He didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated. Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins? The Shambler.
Creepy.
I need to see it.
Okay, we got our last level here. Boom. Master. Alright, so we'll get spot hidden, 4 more points. Then maybe psychology. Oops. Validate. Sanity. How is my sanity? Shaken. Hope that doesn't, like, destroy me, make me lose. We'll see, though. Clues, we looked through all those. Okay. Well, that was odd. See if I can find the painting.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Oh. There's a phonograph right here.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Oh, it's you.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Occultism.
I could use one of those.
More sleeping pills. The place is full of stuff.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Forget the Shambler.
An old diary.
Wickwood's community's wife expressed her worries about strange dreams the Reverend's congregations are having since their arrival on the island. She claims they're sent by God. Dun, 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 dun. What's in here? Oh, what do you know? I opened it. New key. Key to the Sanders Gallery. Anatomical question. Medicine progression. Nice. Dang, getting all kinds of good stuff here. What's this? Would you read the book? Malleus Bestiarum. It's kind of some monstrous unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. This will affect your destiny. Oh. What happens if all these unlocked? Nightmares, Submerged City, the Ritual.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders and wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Nice story. Bad lie. Learn how to dupe, Detective. But as long as you keep out of my way...
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
You're right. Look at all this occult stuff. Weird. What's this?
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Creepy.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Oil for the lamp.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
He's probably looking for a ritual dagger. That's all. All kinds of crazy stuff in here. My goodness. What's this? Oh, more oil. Surprised there's been no spot hiddens anywhere. And here we are at the Shambler. I'll lose my sanity.
What the hell was that?
The Shambler.
That thing came out of this painting. There has to be a link. Maybe if I destroy it. That thing came out of this painting. There has to be a link. Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
That's a great question.
Damn.
Oh no. Okay, so I gotta find that dagger. Skip the cutscene.
What the hell was that?
I guess I should have checked those places. The dagger's better.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection,
All
or was he
twisty.
seeking to acquire it?
Let's see if I can run fast enough. And no sign here. Oh no. Alright, so we will not look at
What
that
the
dagger.
hell was
Go
that?
straight to just searching for the dagger. Shit.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
This is gonna take me a while, because I have no idea where those daggers were. Whew, sorry guys, this is gonna
What the
be a
hell
number
was
of
that?
deaths. Okay, let's see. Oh my god. Does this get rid of it? Okay. Let's figure this out. Okay. Oh,
What the hell was that?
so let's go this way.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Looks like it. That sure as hell didn't work. Oh man.
What the hell was that? Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection,
There's two
or was he
twists.
seeking to acquire it?
Okay, so it's coming out. It's probably in the hole that he is in. Did it see me at all? Oh, there it is. Great. Can't get to this fucking thing because he runs slow as shit.
What the hell was that?
Okay. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Hopefully it won't find me. Let's see what this one is. I'm terrified. Jesus Christ.
Maybe I can use this dagger.
Okay, might need to do some editing in this video for once because I'm gonna die like 1,000 times. Skipping. Sorry. Had a message I had to read. Here we
What
go.
the hell was
Okay.
that? Down. This dagger looks different.
Somehow I did that. Oh god, I'm corrupted.
No!
Do it.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I'm losing my sanity, that's for sure.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
I ran, screamed, broke a pane of glass. You were in the next room and you didn't hear a thing.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still be in the other room. The door was blocked. I got in as soon as I could. I like to look after my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.
The Nameless Bookstore. Well, that was annoying. We'll see if we can keep going. I don't know this. See what this brings. Oh, blood. Uh-oh. There's blood. Hopefully not too much blood.
Where's the bookseller?
That's a great
An
question.
old diary.
Diary of Pastor's Wife, Volume 4. Pastor declared himself to be a prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to this voice in his head because it told us the truth. I wonder if I have all the other ones. I know I have at least one other.
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams.
Ooh.
It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
Darkwater History, Volume 2. Any good books in here? Handbook. We're getting a lot of medicine. Nice. What's this? More medicine. Oh. Skills galore. Just what I needed. In fact, let's take a look. Do I have any? I have 2. Excellent. Books. More Darkwater History. Game of chess. Oh, more oil for my lamp.
What happened here?
That's a great question. Ooh, there's a spot hidden as well. Paintings. Ooh, what's
A
this?
strange amulet.
Oh, jade amulet.
I have a
That's
feeling
never
I'd
good.
better not touch it.
Might find out by searching the bookstore. That section. Alright, well, is there something to actually figure out the dog? Or... Okay, we'll go back and reconstruct. Although I do wonder... So I got my medicine to 30% now. Okay, let's reconstruct.
Let's start over. Where did they break in from?
Right.
Blood. Seemed like amateur work.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree, sir.
No sign of struggle. If the burglar smashed this jar, it wasn't intentionally. Was he hurt then? Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably.
Good sense of deduction, sir. Nothing back there. We go into here. Got 3 things, alright.
What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What killed all these animals?
Great question. The Elder Sign.
What the... Charles Hawkins? Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins. Where did I see it?
You don't remember where you saw it?
What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
Yes, she did.
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Obviously, sir. Alright. Reconstruction complete. New clue memorized. I'm probably going totally insane at this point. Oh. I wonder if there's a way that I know this. Oh, I have to figure out how to open it. Okay. Nothing.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
Certainly seems that way.
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
2053. Drake. This key that bears the Elder sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It's in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. In press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor, the day of the robbery coincides with the last Hawkins trips to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. Key of Relay. Who knows? Okay. Where can I find safe combos? Oh god.
Arkham editions.
Key of Solomon.
Never heard of him.
Okay.
How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions.
7.
Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection?
4.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
4.
Arkham Editions.
Oh god. ISIS
Never heard of him.
unveiled. 7.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Corpus Hermeticum. 2.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
3.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
3. Okay. I don't feel like that was very helpful. Oh.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Yes, I should.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion.
Okay. Would you read the book?
What does this strange book contain? This
What?
book contains unholy knowledge.
Oh god. Malleus Bestiarms, the Shambler. Oh, I'm gonna be insane at the end of this playthrough, I can tell already. Let's take a look at my sanity. Oh, yep, we're down here. Meet the Shambler. Malleus Bestiarum. Good stuff. So is it in this room then?
A kind of chalice.
Okay. Blue, red, green. Okay. Oh, got the...
Things are not looking good.
Nope. Okay. Let's switch to this. Drake's cylinder 1.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Okay, so let's try number 2.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Good.
Dear
That's
friend,
number 3.
I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay. None of that seemed helpful in finding the secret combo. Never tires on browsing through them.
What did Drake say about this collection?
As
Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume.
This is the one. So now what? Number 9. Azathoth and Other Horrors.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his... What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume.
Collection of poems. First published in 1908. Derby was only 18 years old. This volume is part of the Arkham mythology. Luxurious works in esotericism and the supernatural. So 9. Is there a way to like read them?
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection?
Key of Solomon.
Drake talked about a particular volume.
Yes, he did. This one.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection?
1908. Was only 18 years, so 1918. This doesn't go to 1998.
Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Yes. What? Dude, he talked about that one. Are there more tapes I need to listen to?
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay. Well, gotta be honest, I am stuck. It's volume 9. He never tires of browsing through them, which is great.
What did Drake say about this collection?
I'm trying Translation of the Emerald Tablet, popular text among 16th centuries.
Drake talked about a particular volume.
Yeah, he talked about this
So
one.
these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Can I not, like, read it? It's 9, Arkham Anthology. Azathoth and Other Horrors, EP Derby, EPD. As the Nightmare Lyrics. $198,981. I mean, there's a lot of combos you can make out of that, right? What's this? Of course.
Drake
something
left
you totally
instructions
missed.
on how to
My
find the
God.
combination of his safe.
Oh. Okay, if someone finds these memories, there will be no doubt I'm in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in the plane ready in order, but they will be recovered and brought. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother, if she is still of this world. Following message of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, must admit that reason prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I would ask that they deliver its contents into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague Professor Armitage at Miskatonic University. The content of this safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but also a weapon that's far too dangerous for it to fall on. I hope you will be able to appreciate the dangers that this represents. You will act accordingly in any event. I will neither be there to guide you nor to suffer from actions. Order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of the imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. Order is the pleasure of reason. So, what did the first message say again?
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. And these red... I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension
The Queen
grows.
has little protection.
We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
So is it 3?
The chalice of knowledge.
1, 2, 3, 4. How do we know? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 3, 9, maybe. 5, 3, 9. Oh, wow. Apparently I'm a genius like this guy. It only took me forever. Sweet deal. It's projected into another body. That doesn't sound good at all.
Dr. Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
That's not good.
Did you inject him with a tranquilizer?
No, Doctor. Not me, not anyone. Our stock is empty, yet again.
Again? But there was enough for the whole island.
More and more people are suffering from insomnia. We can't refuse to help.
Of course.
Any idea what this man might be undergoing?
Very
Let's
well.
examine him.
I'll examine him. 30-year-old subject. Severe hypothermia. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums. Necrosed palpebral tissue. Lord, this smell.
Gross.
Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Doesn't seem like an edema. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the presence of a foreign body. His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated. His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin, tender at the touch, slightly sticky.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain it's not an edema?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger won't leave a trace. And look at these bumps.
It's not like he could be pregnant.
Gross.
Whatever it is, this man
Monsters.
has something inside him that shouldn't be there. We should operate on him at once.
Dr. Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
You know, I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth. In spite of the muscle contractions, his arms seem limp.
Yes. They can't have decalcified, not at this rate.
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's softer than that of a newborn baby. What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch. It does seem like the skull of a baby.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be happening?
I'm sure you'll
Talking a long
find an
time back there,
explanation.
jeez.
You have to.
Okay.
I see signs of
dehydrated.
hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail. And you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier,
He seemed to feel better?
yes, like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't explain his condition.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not those usually associated with the human species.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you believe in extraterrestrials.
Just the
No.
old gods.
This poor man is from our world, all right. But his body is undergoing unnatural mutations. And this transformation is killing him. His body
Sounds
simply
right to
can't
me.
cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
Dr. Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients. Provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There, there. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
These are alarming symptoms. If we don't act, he'll die.
Do you believe that? I'm not as convinced, you see. I even think this man has a strong chance of completely healing from his ailments.
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore. He's dying.
Really? What do you mean by isn't himself?
He's changing.
Ominous. Jeez.
His physical characteristics, they are more animal than human now.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Could you be more precise? Cephalopod, perhaps?
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for knowledge, Doctor. It's your innocent worries for this man that have you overreacting.
For this man, and the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
Wow,
It was a
she's
warning.
Stupid.
Dr. Fuller is this institution's
Whereas,
founder and one of our profession's
some of my
most
friends would say,
influential
"What are you,
voices.
dumb?"
My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest, I will only ruin my reputation and career.
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything? Is there no evidence of his crimes?
I'll find it.
Oh, that evidence exists. I'm sure of it. I need to find the missing medical files.
And where would you find those? In his office? What if you get caught?
I'd rather not think about that. I'm counting on your discretion.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep Mum.
Right. Okay, I need to see a game save before we... Medicine.
An unknown medicine. Judging by the other ones, it causes heavy side effects.
Of course. Nothing there. Get into Fuller's office.
No, you're pulling my leg. I'm not joking. I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch Donovan.
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl. And the answer is no.
The doses prescribed by Fuller are far too high.
I agree.
You can imagine that she doesn't dare say a thing. That silly goose lets herself be trodden
Pseudoscientific
on.
work.
Oh well, at least we won't have to clean for a while.
We've been waiting to be restocked for
Just
weeks.
Wait and see the next time the water's cut off. It's a real show.
Where's this dude's office? Medical sciences. Nothing on these desks.
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
Elizabeth? You all right? Why is this room in such a state?
Because, as always, I'm cleaning it by myself. And the water was once again shut off this morning. I had to bother Mrs. Donovan again, giving her a new excuse to belittle me.
Do you really need Mrs. Donovan to...
I can't make these decisions without her approval. Imagine if there were a leak. Anyhow, the boiler room is locked half the time. So every time the water gets shut off, I have to go and endure her reproach until she's settled the problem.
I see. Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor.
Nothing in here. So back over here, I guess.
Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going?
Oh God. Mrs. Donovan.
Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office.
Obviously.
But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I will tell him, nonetheless.
Seems okay. Oh wait, it saves it. I wonder if there's a... So I have to go to the basement or wherever then? Well, that's the end. Okay. I'll have to figure this stuff out later. Thanks for watching, and we will return next week with another episode as this plot continues to thicken and craziness happens and my insanity goes away. Or my sanity goes away, because I will probably end this game with an insane detective. Anyways, later.